final stage of World Cup qualification is underway. Points for improvement plain to see for the Socceroos before their clash with Oman.
Ross trying to slide it in.
Led by captain Galekovic, Adelaide United fly the flag in Asia.
Fabulous start from Galekovic. Unbelievable save.
And with Euro set for kick-off, two groups, near impossible to predict, are up for analysis. Hello and welcome to the World Game as we count down to the next phase for the Socceroos in World Cup qualifying and to the start of the European Championships in Poland and Ukraine. We'll be honing in on Groups A and B, looking at whether it's Germany's time. They find themselves in a tough group along with Holland, Portugal and Denmark. That's all to come, but first, it's been a busy few days of global action. Mariana joins us for all the headlines. Mariana, welcome.
Thanks, David, and good evening, everyone. To the A-League first up, where Sydney FC today unveiled versatile defender Adam Griffiths as their latest signing. Brother of Joel and Ryan Griffiths, the 32-year-old joins the Sky Blues after having spent 2 years playing for Chinese Super League club Hangzhou. Griffiths says he's ready for the challenge and is looking forward to returning to his hometown, albeit on a one-year deal.
I've been brought in to play at the back, so I'm quite versatile, so I can play defensive midfield or at the back, so wherever the team needs me, really. 1 year is good for me because I wanted to see where I was at, and it's a good combination both for myself and Sydney, and obviously if I do well, I'd love to stay in Sydney.
Japan has got off to the perfect start in round 4 of World Cup qualifying with a 3-0 win at home to Oman. Roichi Maeda and Shinji Okazaki scored 2 second-half goals in the space of 3 minutes to lead Japan to victory over Oman in the first round of the final qualifying stage. While in South America, Colombia has climbed into 5th spot after a 1-0 win over lowly Peru. James Rodriguez making all the difference for the Colombians as he capitalised on a defensive error to slot home from 8 metres. To Europe now, and England's Euro 2012 squad will be without central defender Gary Cahill after the Chelsea man suffered a double jaw fracture against Belgium at the weekend. A mindless push by Belgium Dries Mertens sent Cahill crashing into Joe Hart and effectively ended his Euro hopes. Despite the injury, Roy Hodgson has remained reluctant to bring in Rio Ferdinand, to the fury of those in the Ferdinand camp, Hodgson preferring Liverpool's Martin Kelly instead. And you can read more on that story at our website. Remarkably, there's still some club football to be decided in Europe. Socceroo Calvaleri was in action and on target for Sassuolo in the Serie B promotion playoffs, but it wasn't enough to make the Serie A dream a reality. Trailing 2-1 from the first leg, Sassuolo went further behind after a controversial penalty was awarded to Sampdoria's Eder Martins. After some brilliant lead-up play, the home side replied through Valeri on 63 minutes, but failed to find the crucial second. Sampdoria now face Varese for a place in the top flight. To the papers now, and in the UK, no surprises to see Rio Ferdinand snub hogging the headlines and heaping more pressure on the inexperienced Kelly. In Portugal, O Jogo reads, Nani is ready for Germany. The Manchester United winger saying the Turkey result was regrettable, but if we win the first match at Euro, all will be forgotten. Onto our poll for tonight, which asks for your prediction in the Socceroos match against Oman. Head to sbs.com.au/The World Game and tell us what you think. And while you're there, why not put your views to the football community via our website, Facebook or Twitter? Maybe your thoughts on how you think the Socceroos will fare for the rest of the qualifiers, or who you think are the hot favourites for the upcoming European Championships. Now, you may also be interested in adding your 2 cents to another important poll. The search is on for Australia's greatest ever footballer. Head to thegreatesteveraustralianfootballer.com and be part of the event. And I'll be back a little later with the word from you. But for now, it's back to you, Bash.
Thank you, Mariana. We'll see you soon. Well, in Copenhagen, the Socceroos tested and tuned their World Cup qualifying engine by losing to Denmark, but the final scoreline of 2-0 perhaps didn't reflect Australia's overall performance. Our panel of 3, Francois Tifi, David Zrilic and Craig Foster, had a look at Holger's men. Guys, welcome along.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Bash.
Yes.
Looking a little bit different there, my friend.
I am, yeah. I'm in sharper focus, you could say.
You really are. You really are.
Fran, what did you think of the performance as opposed to the result for the Australian team?
Oh, look, I think that whilst the result wasn't the most desirable thing, I thought in the first half Denmark dominated the game, played a much more proactive game, patient build-up, and they were able to use their 4-3-3 formation to advantage, especially in the middle where they had the three players in numerical superiority. It was the two midfielders, Kvist and Zimling, were able to play effectively against Australia's two with regard to also the other attacking midfielder as well, Eriksson. Australia did create opportunities though. I mean, I think even within that, when you look at the overall number of chances that were created, Australia actually created almost as many chances as them, but when you look at the penalty here, a bit of magic here from the young boy from Ajax, Eriksson, and good penalty.
Overall, though, Australia, as Francis mentioned, really created good chances, and there were, a number of positives to take out of the match.
There were. I thought that on the balance, Australia created the better ones, and Alex Bross in particular had two. There was another one straight after that where it was another perfect chance. He actually gets into a lot of situations like that. This would be disappointing. I mean, it's just a set piece, very sloppy at the back. The first one, Sporanovic was gets caught out here again. So there were a few worrying signs, but I think on the balance we did create a lot of chances. I was a bit concerned how deep we were sitting in that first half, and we weren't even putting any pressure on. And he made a bit of a change by one of Harry or Brossy coming in and helping defensively, dropping into that hole. But for me, the key is Bresciano's been playing brilliantly. Harry had a good game. Bresciano in particular in the midfield, since he's come in against Saudi Arabia in this game again, whether he's sitting deep or whether he pushes a little bit further up, where I like to see him there, because he's one of the creative ones that's able to play that ball through, and he just adds that extra dimension that I think we've been lacking in recent Socceroo games.
Okay, it's all about the performance in these matches, so how did the Socceroos feel about theirs? Let's start with Coach Holger Osek.
The overall performance gave me a lot of encouragement for our upcoming games. The individual performance of some players was excellent. It was even beyond my expectations.
The two goals we conceded were avoidable, a bit sloppy on our behalf, and we can always correct that. Perhaps we could create our chances in front of goal and maybe have a little bit more possession, but the signs are good. I'm positive. Oman's a completely different competitive game to this one, so we look forward in confident mood.
The main thing we learned today is that we have to be more clinical in front of goals, because I think we created a lot of chances, but our finishing wasn't up to date today.
They're chances that sort of at this level you have to take, and I guess the only thing I can take from it is that I was getting in those positions and that it was just a friendly. So on another day it sort of probably could have cost us a bit more. So I think against Oman and Japan, if you don't put those away, then we could be in trouble.
Yeah, it's going to be very hot, I know firsthand, and that's why it's going to be important to have a good shape, perhaps get good quality on set pieces, and then when we do have good possession and pass fast like we showed in the game there and create chances, we've got to put them away, and that'll make it very difficult for any team to come back because of the heat and because of the fact that you won't be able to go every time and play with such high intensity. So we've just got to play clever, play smart, and like I said, we're going there in good spirits.
Yeah, Socceroos captain Lucas Neal there, positive ahead of the Oman match. Foz, morale is important, as are the tactics and the execution of those tactics. What caught your eye on this one?
I thought actually not only did they create the best opportunities in the match, but they created more goal-scoring chances than I've remembered from our team for quite some time. And the great thing for me was that they were all mostly created on the ground. It's only going back a few games now, and particularly remember the Asian Cup and so on, a lot of balls in the air and a lot of all that discussion, and there was virtually none of that in this game. All of a sudden, once they solved the problem or the puzzle in midfield, which was always going to be the case coming into the game, two different formations that match up, I thought they played extremely well. The first 25 minutes, they gave the game completely to Denmark. And one of the reasons I'll show you now is because of what happened in midfield. But after that, and particularly in the second half, they were absolutely brilliant. They came in, and Holger would have known, but they were playing a 4-2-3-1 with two at the base of their midfield. And of course, we play with virtually a flat four midfield. So we've got two always sitting deep. You can see Bresciano and Jedinak there, right, side by side. And what happens is they also have Ericsson sitting in behind. So in the first 20 minutes, they always had one and often two players free in this at the base of midfield. And here they are, both of them here, playing together. Now you can see Brosk just coming back too late there. Now the thing about it, Francis, is Holger knew it, but he must have had a mechanism to deal with it. But in the first 20 minutes, you couldn't see it. You either have to readjust your midfield, one of the guys come in from laterally, or from the opposite side, or one of your strikers has to drop. Now, I think what he was doing was trying to drop both. But look here, you saw Holger giving instructions. Look at now here Broski's coming in and saying to Harry, listen, here he goes, you go and sit on him. And Harry says, no, he's coming over your side, you go. So just watch two passes now. This is what, 28 minutes in? We still really haven't solved it. And now you'll see Harry follow him all the way back. Watch him go. Yep. Okay, now he passes on to Bresch. Now you've got two sitting in here and Broski's much closer. So it was one of those problems which you have to solve, and you have to solve it quickly. But once they did, it was really good.
I think the Danes did that really well too when Australia had the possession. In that what they did was Christian Eriksen became a second forward, and when they pressed Australia to stop Australia from playing, and the other two wingers would drop off, and it became they then played with a 4-4-2, matching Australia when Australia had when they had the ball. So that was good.
OK, well, after the break, we'll turn from the past to the future and look to the Socceroos' next task against Oman. But first, the pick of the international action from around the globe, starting with Mexico's first win over Brazil in 5 years. We'll see you soon.
It's the crossfield ball picking out Giovanni Dos Santos. What can the Tottenham man do here? You're going to have to go a long way to see a goal of that kind of quality, an instinctive piece of play.
Aranguiz, Humberto Suazo, Aranguiz, go! Charles Aranguiz for Chile.
Marengo. Rondon, goal! Jose Rondon equalises for Venezuela. This could get in here for Colombia, goals and scores.
All in one rhythm, the official slogan for the 2014 FIFA World Cup in Brazil, all of which you'll be able to see live and exclusive right here on SBS. The next step on the road to Rio for the Socceroos takes place in Muscat, Oman, where SBS reporter Scott McIntyre joins us now. Scott, great to see you. We understand a number of players were on your flight. How is the side looking?
The players are, as you could imagine, very tired. It was a really long journey from Denmark. In fact, from the time they left at Copenhagen to arriving here in their hotel